I'm Kim Souza with Supply Side Digital, and I'm here with Clint Lazenby. He is a managing partner in Ubitquiti. They are a company that, a web portal that uploads products onto multiple websites. I understand, Clint, anywhere from Amazon to Walmart and some 50 in between. They don't only upload, but they also manage that inventory and track those sales. We're going to talk about Walmart's blockbuster deal with Flipkart. So let's just start off, Clint, with it's a $16 billion deal. It's a company that's not making money. Is it worth the price tag for Walmart?
In short, I think it's a brilliant acquisition. Walmart has really started rethinking their strategy and making some really great steps. And so I would say it's a brilliant piece of work, piece of thinking on their part.
Well, shareholders saw it as dilutive for a couple of years, but you're saying in the long term, shareholders should take a longer view. Walmart's doing it for the long term, and you're affirmative on that.
I think if you look at Walmart and the value that it's going to create for shareholders over the next 20 or 30 years, you have to be thinking about, well, what are the countries that can deliver that kind of growth? When you look at India, it's going to be the largest country on the face of the planet. It's the youngest population of any big countries, has a low internet population, and for all of those reasons, it's very attractive in its own right. Take into consideration that there's no clear leader in the e-commerce space.
Right.
It's an opportunity for them to become the #1 player in what will be the largest e-commerce market ever.
Well, we know Amazon is there and has been there and poured lots of money into that market. Amazon was apparently reportedly a bidder for Flipkart. So what does this do for Walmart to give them a leg up against Amazon in that market, since they seem to struggle here in the U.S.?
I think if you use Alibaba as a proxy and you look at how they attack Southeast Asia, they didn't go out and build everything from scratch. They went out and said, who's a great regional player? And they targeted in on Lazada, because at the end of the day, Lazada had figured out those individual market challenges. They had built the traffic, they had built their own set of loyalty, if you will, and have been very successful at that. And Baba knew it would be a faster opportunity for them to be successful. I think when you look at Walmart in India, this is an opportunity for them to become really the #1, arguably #1 or 2, depending on what month data you look at, in that marketplace with a team of experts who understand that market inside and out, whether that's from what's important to the consumer and the shoppers and buying, or when you look down into the supply chain and how do you actually deliver these products.
One thing about Flipkart is it hasn't included grocery. Grocery is huge for Walmart, and they keep saying they want to be the world's largest grocery provider. How difficult is it going to be for Walmart to add grocery to Flipkart?
I think the question is, when is it going to be appropriate for Walmart to blend grocery into Flipkart?
Okay.
The Indian market, from a food perspective, is amazingly diverse. It's still largely agrarian. A lot of people already get takeout. Everywhere delivers food already. And so what we've seen with Walmart in terms of building partnerships for delivery or partnerships on the supply chain side, you really think about maybe a short-term strategy would be finding some ways to partner up to simply make it more effective, make it more on time, bring the prices down, and develop more loyalty with that consumer. I don't really know, but that's a way that you could think about it, as opposed to traditional grocery of boxes of cereal, which may not be appropriate in the market today.
Interesting. One of the things Walmart said they liked about Flipkart is that it had its own logistics arm, and its logistics arm, and it also had its own payment system. So they felt like they were buying a suite of companies in Flipkart. They didn't feel like they were just buying the e-commerce business. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the payment system, mobile payment, and also the delivery network that they have with the logistics arm of eCart. So
that is going to be interesting. Again, looking back at Alibaba, you look at what they've done with Paytm in India and really integrating their payment platform and starting to create an ecosystem. Amazon has been trying to build their ecosystem structure like they have in the United States, but we've seen them struggle a little bit.
Sure.
So it will be interesting to see. And again, I think going back to your first point, Kim, it really lends itself to why they would make that acquisition. They get a number of things, a very robust marketplace that they can leverage.
All right. Well, talk to me a little about opportunities for suppliers. Who should be thinking about India now if you're a supplier to Walmart?
I think that's a great question. It's going to be very interesting to see how Walmart treats the acquisition. you have to believe that speed is going to be incredibly important with Amazon really biting on the heels of Flipkart today. So you would think that Walmart will kind of take a hands-off approach. They're going to let Flipkart continue to execute. So will there be opportunities from suppliers? I absolutely think there will be, but I think we've got to understand that's really going to be driven by Flipkart as opposed to maybe a global development model from Walmart, as we would have thought about more in brick and mortar.
Well, interesting. You know, they say they're going to let Flipkart's management run the show. We'll see. We did see some exits with Jet. Marrying those two companies together was difficult. Mark Luria stayed on. Of course, there's a financial advantage for him, incentive for him to do that. But Benny Bonzel, will he stay on? You know, that's a big question. Walmart said part of the attractiveness was the talent, the tech talent, that they're going to need to stay in place. What's Walmart got to do to make sure that happens?
It's a great question. It's probably above my pay grade in general. Having said that, probably the really unique opportunity if you're working at Flipkart today is to be part of this broader idea of a global e-commerce platform. We haven't really seen that outside of Amazon and Alibaba. And so Flipkart really needed a partner. They needed somewhere other than just India. It's a big market, but they needed to be able to get outside of that. So now you start to look at, well, this could be something that fits into Walmart's international model, how they start to expand and grow. This could become a platform for them. We just don't know. But I would think those would be things that would be very interesting if you were working in India, starting to be able to take a broader approach to business than just the Indian market per se.
Okay, Leslie, let's talk about Walmart's international portfolio. They are making lots of changes there. It's not the same world as it was 3 years ago. They recently sold out of their majority ownership of Asda. Talk to me a little bit about that decision, why you think that was strategic, and what might be some other countries that they may be looking to downsize in your opinion?
Sure. You know, I think, again, going back to our first comments around strategy, Walmart has really sort of said nothing's off the table in terms of what they're looking at and how they're going to go to market. And it really seems to be focused around this idea of where can they find growth and create value. And so when you look at Asda, you look at a business that, you know, arguably has been a good performing business, but has not really been able to get to the top position, number one in the market. The growth there is relatively limited. There's high internet penetration, and they're still a player, going back to their partnership. This is still a partnership for them. And so what would be some other places that would potentially fit that same model, that might have capped growth, might have a capped opportunity for e-commerce? I think you'd have to look around the world and say, would there be some markets that might fit into that? I don't know which those would be specifically, but there's certainly within their portfolio, you would think there would be some buckets that some would be more strategic and others might be ready to be sort of paired off or partnered off in some way. Clearly, they believe that there's value ongoing with the omni-channel and the supply chain backbone and delivery. And so I think this partnership model is probably is something to keep our eye on in the future.
No doubt. They have made it clear that they're not trying to reinvent the wheel in many cases. You know, on the Asda situation, a lot of the talent that they have on staff now in the U.S. and even internationally came out of the Asda network. Dave Cheesewright, who was the former CEO of International, came from Asda. Judith McKenna is now International CEO. She came out of the Asda. A lot of the Walmart U.S. grocery model is from Asda. So as we saw them pull all those learnings into the U.S., what learnings do you think they may pull out of Flipkart into Walmart.com?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer.
Well, sometimes we'll have to have you back and talk about that at a later time. Thank you for joining us. Till next time, Supply Side Digital.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers. or everything stops. And that's what drives me.